France has just witnessed the tumultuous week in which the country was shaken by 5 nights of serious disorder and destruction. The violent riots sparked after Nahom Mazouk, a 17-year-old boy of Moroccan and Algerian descent, was shot by the police in Nanterre, located in the suburbs of Paris. The officer who shot first claimed he acted out of legitimate defense, as Nahom was supposedly driving at him. However, video evidence filming the incident suggests the police officer shot him at point-blank range. The outrage sparked by this incident deeply attacked the structure of the state, as rioters went on looting shops, burning cars, infrastructure, and even targeted mayors' personal residences. While Nahom's grandmother shared her grief and anger towards the officers responsible for taking her grandson's life, she urged the rioters to stop destroying and using Nahom as an excuse to damage infrastructure and buildings used by the common people. If one is to look at events closely, the riots projected once again the clear picture of a fractured society torn between two visions of France that have constantly been clashing with one another for the past decade. In 2005, France witnessed its longest riots, which lasted 3 weeks. The unrest started within similar circumstances, where the police were investigating a reported break-in at a building site and a group of local youths scattered in order to avoid interrogation. 3 of them hid in an electrical substation where 2 died from electrocution, resulting in a power blackout. While it was officially not established whether the police suspected these individuals or a different group, the incident ignited huge tension and unrest in suburbs, compelling the authorities to declare a state of emergency that was later extended for 3 months. In 2005, the then-President Jacques Chirac tried to appease the tensions by reassuring the young inhabitants of suburbs that they are equally the children of the Republic. However, the then-Interior Minister, Nicolas Sarkozy, sparked outrage by using a derogatory term for children of suburbs, calling them thugs, and announcing measures to strengthen the power of the police. Far-right parties have constantly exploited such incidents by putting the blame on loose immigration policies that have allowed these French citizens of North African descent to act against national cohesion and scoring political points. They went as far as suggesting that the Islamic factor has pushed the rioters to act in a destructive manner. However, many social experts have unanimously pointed out that the problem lies elsewhere and can be explained by deep-rooted social discrimination. In fact, in 2005, the French intelligence services found no link between Islam and the riots, as they have pointed out that many children of the native French have also taken part in the riots. The lack of opportunities and unemployment in France's poorest communities, living for its majority in suburbs, is a reality many leaders have turned a blind eye to and are still unwilling to prioritize. The majority of the inhabitants of these suburbs are capable, talented, and willing to integrate into the wider society, but experience discrimination at various levels of society. In short, this time around again, the government has shifted the blame on the parents and decided to punish them for the misconduct of their children by cutting aid or sending them to prison instead of their minor children. Macron even suggested blocking access to social media, where these youngsters have been organizing themselves, violating individual freedom and the fundamental rights of his citizens. The general perception given by this violent episode of social unrest and uprising has no different conclusions than the 2005 riots. France has once again chosen to address this long-standing social issue by authoritative measures, empowering the empowered while overlooking the main issue and failing to establish a bond of trust with its least privileged communities. It also failed to acknowledge the UN recent request to seriously address the deep issues of racism and discrimination in law enforcement, claiming these allegations to be baseless and untrue. Meanwhile, following this tragic incident, 2 fundraisers have been set up. The fundraiser for the latter reached €1 million, while the fundraiser for Nahom reached €400,000, clearly depicting a pattern of systemic racism within the society. Muslim communities in France have also called for appeasement and never encouraged violence as a resort to social injustice. In political philosophy, the social contract models the legitimacy of the authority of the state over the individuals. To put it in simple words, the social contract refers to the consent of citizens to surrender some of their freedoms and submit to authority in exchange for the protection and maintenance of social order. However, In the past years, France has had to deal with many social movements, be it the Yellow Vest, pension reform, or the recent riots, highlighting Macron's inability to connect with his people and address their most basic concerns adequately. The riots have only deepened the evident fracture between a leader that keeps curbing individual freedoms while failing to acknowledge, understand, and protect his most deprived citizens, offering the world a dreadful display of social chaos and anarchy.